Do your intro, clown. What are you talking about? You were with me. What are you doing?
That's the key word, word.
It's first things first. Today, MVS. Okay. The second half offense has been miserable and un-Mahomesian. Mahomes' first 101 games, he was only held scoreless in the second half twice. So 101 games, 99 times you score. Pretty easy. Last 3 games, goose eggs. The old donut. Okay, is it time to officially worry about the Chiefs?
About the Super Bowl favorite Chiefs?
Well, they're tied with the Eagles.
So the Super Bowl cold favorite
team that
Chiefs.
just beat
We
them.
should probably be as worried. Okay, so let me.
That's not the
hold on.
question.
Oh, I'm sorry.
100%.
Time to officially worry about the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Not quite. But before I get to that, you know, a man pays his debts. I owe Brou something. So Brou, strap in.
I forgot.
And,
Oh my
and you know what?
goodness.
And by the way, you feel free to go ahead, Brou.
I think we should have one.
And have one
Celebrate.
because I'm going to be
Even
here a
though I
while.
was rooting for the
It's going to
Chiefs.
be a moment till you probably get the microphone. So first of all,
you know what?
Yeah.
You can talk all show.
Okay, good.
I'll be
Perfect.
good.
Grab yourself a crumbled cookie and listen up. Because Wildes.
Yeah, go.
First, I had to pay the crumbled
No, you
cookie
go.
debt.
Yeah.
Second, I have to do something that I'm a bad teammate for doing this, but I'm going the full 8 mile here.
Oh.
I'm doing the B rabbit. I'm taking your ammo before you even get a chance to go while you're distracted
went
by
to a
the
private
crumbled
school.
cookie.
No idea what I'm
Because
gonna
let me
say.
tell you what. Okay, I do know what you're going to say
Really?
because it's what everyone on every network has said. You know what would help the Chiefs offense? If when you threw the ball, they caught it. Yeah, you know what? I don't know where people figured that out, but yes.
From
you know
hearing
what?
me say it all year long. That's where-
It is just such sparkling, cogent analysis, catch the football. But that is not why they lost the game.
Okay.
They lost the game because they have 3 unquestioned, undoubted, first ballot Hall of Famers on the offensive side of the ball, and those 3 guys didn't do their job the way they needed to. Patrick Mahomes is the greatest quarterback I've ever seen. He threw a abysmal red zone pick that was not forced, that was not because he was pressured, it was a bad mistake.
Yep.
Travis Kelce fumbles once a year, literally. He chose the time to fumble this year, similar to the one last year, actually, trying to go up a score in a big game. That one's against Cincinnati, go up a second score, fumbled inside the 5. And Andy Reid, who is arguably the greatest offensive mind ever, certainly I would argue the greatest offensive mind since Bill Walsh, has been unable to adjust to the opponent's adjustments in the second half.
give you that
the
one.
last three games.
These are very good
So
so far.
while everyone is going to talk about Justin Watson or MVS's drops, the Chiefs win that game going away if Patrick Mahomes or Travis Kelce or Andy Reid have a Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, or Andy Reid game. And the reason it's a shame, Brou, that those guys didn't, and this is the part that you don't want to hear, but you know is true.
Okay.
Because the biggest story of the game was the Eagles, Brou, kind of up against the Chiefs. I hate to say it, looked like some breakdancers. They looked like guys that could get pushed around. The Chiefs, who ran for more yards than this team has allowed since week 1 of last year. The Eagles, who allowed 5 sacks, the second most sacks Jalen Hurts ever had. In a game between the Chiefs and the Eagles, who was the more physical team? Who dominated the
Chiefs
trenches?
were. I'll give you that.
Exactly
I'll
right.
give you that.
The Chiefs dominated
It
the
was a
trenches.
little
Now
bit of pop
we'll talk.
locking early
Thank
on.
you,
I'ma
thank
give
you,
you that.
Brou. And so
I'ma
we
be
will talk.
objective.
We'll talk Philly in a moment because I think Philly deserves massive credit when we talk that. But the idea that the Chiefs were exposed in this game when they exposed the fact that they can go toe-to-toe with the Eagles from a physicality standpoint and win that matchup, I feel fine about it. So I know people want me to panic. Shockingly, Vegas has not. I won't panic. I don't think it's officially time to worry. And yeah, it'd be better if they could catch the ball. I agree. That would be
all
nice.
right, look. That
Enjoy
was
your
good.
crumble
That was
cookie?
good. That was
Thanks.
a nice, brave face that Nick put on. But I knew you were in Philly last night. I got people in Philly. I've been doing this for a long
Put it
time.
on Instagram,
All
too, so it wasn't that.
And I had some people taking photos of you watching that game. You were all jovial early and late. This was you, Nick.
See,
that is you.
I didn't co-sign this.
That is you. And so you can come out here. We pushed them around. We turned them into turbo and some break dancers and all that.
That does
We had them breaking and spinning and all that, and this was you. All right, so enough of that nonsense.
Yeah,
now look,
better there in real life.
they did. That is a good-looking emoji. I'll tell you that.
Thanks, Brou.
Everyone expects me to come out here and gloat.
I mean,
To come out here and celebrate and mock Nick and throwing the sunglasses. I brought them just in case the spirit hits me. But I don't know. The thing is this. Mm-hmm. I'm mad.
Why?
I'm upset because I was right. All right, I said it was a one-score game. I said the Chiefs receiver was going to blow it. I was right on the money, but I'm always right. I mean, I'm usually right. That's not a big deal. That's not a big deal. I'm right so
We'll run the
often.
numbers in the break.
All right, that's nothing. I am upset, Nick, because you all that stuff you said, whatever. The bottom line is this. The Kansas City Chiefs, the decision makers, the front office, whatever,
Oh, this is nonsense.
are taking Patrick Mahomes for granted. Just like I said weeks ago, just like I've been saying all season
Just
long,
like you said
they're
last year.
playing along with his greatness. I don't remember saying that last year. They're playing along with this. They're playing around with his greatness.
He's been consistent on
They are saying, and they were saying all season long, they were saying in the offseason, Patrick Mahomes is so great, it don't matter who our receivers are. We don't need to go out and get any more receivers, right? And now this is what you have. Nick, the defense is ferocious.
Yeah.
And you're right. That first half, because I think Philadelphia is the most physical team in the league. And the Chiefs were pushing them around.
They did. Just for the record, can we slow down? They stopped the tush push.
Not the tush push, but they ran the ball down their throat.
One dominant play where it's like, you know what, we are going to
They ran over 100 yards in the first half.
And they were unable to get into a tush-push scenario until the fourth quarter because the Chiefs were dominating
the Chiefs
up front.
were playing.
That's undeniable.
The defense is great.
Right in the end zone.
Isaiah Pacheco runs like he's on fire. I mean, like literally. Like somebody get this flame off me. Like that dude is tough. All right.
On fire music.
I love Isaiah Pacheco. All right. And obviously we know what Mahomes is. Nick, they got one problem, and it's a huge one. And you can try to deny it all you want.
I'm not trying to
but they lost. Yes, Mahomes made a mistake. He's going to make mistakes.
Yeah.
Kelsey made a mistake. He's going to make mistakes. I don't think he's quite what he used to be. Still great. But I feel like I see a little decline. You don't really see it statistically other than yards per catch. But I just don't feel like – I feel like with this receiving core, he has to be as great as he's ever been, and I don't think he's quite that. But they made some mistakes. But, Nick, look, in a day and age when we have college kids making one-handed catches routinely because the gloves are covered in super glue nowadays, this is what you have with the Chiefs. I mean, what is this?
It's a terrible drop.
No, that ain't the only one. How about that? See, that was MVS just losing himself.
Route.
He's afraid to get hit. Justin Watson, he heard footsteps. He knew he was going to get his clock cleaned. And this, of course, is the game. I mean, MVS, I feel like the moment, because that's one where he was stumbling. It was almost like he subconsciously made it harder than it had to be. I feel like he is, dare I say, afraid of these big moments and these big catches. And they have a problem, Nick, and it is their receiving core. And just look at this as far as the fourth quarter touchdowns.
Yeah.
You got the best quarterback you and I have ever seen, and you've got one fourth quarter touchdown the entire season.
Yeah.
Look at that. Will Levis, Zach Wilson, and Josh Dobbs are the quarterbacks on those other teams, or were, and they have more touchdowns. This is if they got one problem, and they're still a great team, but that one problem, good chance it comes back to bite them, and they don't win the Super Bowl.
This is where I push back on the took them for granted or the front office, whatever it is. You can't, in my opinion, you cannot say the defense is great, but the receivers X without
Can't have
acknowledging. No, they built the defense with the assets.
I'm
they
not
got
asking for
trading
Tyreek Hill.
So-
Can I get a legit number 2? Do they have a number 2 receiver on that team?
I think Rasheed Rice. Yes, I don't.
Maybe one day, but they hardly even use him.
So
he's okay.
I understand right now. Everyone is focused on the drops. I get it. And there is, for some reason, there is some belief that this receiving core last year was dramatically better from a personnel standpoint than one this year, when it is the exact same humans with Rasheed Rice in place of Juju Smith-Schuster. And as
Juju's
opposed to
better at this point.
I don't know
Juju's a professional receiver who's had good seasons.
Yeah,
I mean,
this year Rasheed Rice is a far better
also had
player
a drop
than
to lose
Juju.
the Patriots at the end of the game.
But regardless, the point that I am making is everyone
Hardman.
is. They have Hardman, Brou.
I know he's hurt
on
and
the
banged
team.
up, but I'm just saying last year he was okay.
Last year he was hurt and banged up and barely contributed. He had 200 yards
There's
last
no
year.
defensive. There's no defense of these receivers. They lead the league in drops.
Talk about the drops. Do you want to talk?
The point that I am making is, with all of those drops, if Kelsey doesn't fumble, if Mahomes doesn't throw that pick, they win the game. And my point that I'm trying to impress upon you is the drops I don't think are going to stop. The reason I believe in the Chiefs is because I think those two guys on the picture aren't going to make critical errors within the 5-yard line, both of them in the same game. That's I just want to be clear. I'm not saying the receivers all of a sudden are going to get awesome. I don't think they were last year and they won the Super Bowl.
Okay, so here's the play that's getting the most attention. So we just talked about the drops, and I think you made some good points. But I don't think this is a time for you to talk. I think this is a time for you to listen.
Okay.
Can we hit the lights again?
What do you
Because, when I was having a rough time.
Oh, this guy.
When I was having a rough time, you guys came to me and you said, you know what, Kevin, you've got a problem with Mac Jones.
Yeah.
And you guys went out of your way to let me know, hey, man, there's an issue. You got to stop talking about the defense. You got to stop talking about what could have been, should have been. You got to talk about what is. I mean, Brou, he knows the receivers aren't getting any better. It's not just about this one fumble. I said earlier, hey, man, it's been 3 games. You haven't scored a single point in the second half. He's like, well, if Kelsey doesn't fumble. So I talked to him upstairs, couldn't get through.
I know. I mean, Nick, we care about you, man.
Yeah, man.
I've been at your house
I'm not
watching
sure about
Chiefs
that.
games.
Yeah, Wildes
and
never has taken the invitation. God for an alleged.
I know how tough it eats you up. You go for walks with your dog. You just leave random people. I mean, me.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm random, but in your house alone by
You're about
myself
to be, yeah.
for hours. All right. And there have been red flags all season. All right, from the senseless tattoo, I mean, never a doubt. Come on, and to. The denial week after week after week.
It's supposed to be more loving, though.
Well,
can I ask
week
you a
after
question?
week of the receiving core, even to this day, Nick, they always say denial is the first problem. And you've been denying it up until this moment.
We're not the only ones that care about you. And I know it's supposed to be the B block. We brought Coach here too.
I don't want to see him. I don't want to see him. He doesn't even have a chair. I'm not moving.
He
brought a candle.
What are we doing?
I know you thought
Go ahead,
they'd
Coach.
be undefeated.
I knew that wasn't going to happen once they lost. That chair could mess.
Break the New England Patriots' consecutive win record.
Yeah, I did think
I know
that.
you thought they'd win after the bye. I know you thought they'd score in the second half. I know you thought that they'd beat the Eagles again.
Yeah.
But none of that happened.
None of it happened. Can I ask a question?
And it's not.
I'm worried about the chair falling.
Don't worry about the chair.
I love
you need to worry about the Chiefs, not about the chair.
Okay.
It's not about the chair.
Okay.
Now you can go.
All right. Brou, when we did the original intervention, which is always the original far better than the remix, it was to try to get Wildes to quit Mac Jones.
Yeah.
What is the goal of this? What do you guys? Because here's the thing. Here's what I didn't hear from Brou. Mm-hmm. And this is why the Chiefs can't win the Super Bowl. So if Brou believes they can win the Super Bowl, Wildes, who's your Super Bowl pick right now? This moment. Who do you right now believe is going to win the Super Bowl?
Philadelphia Eagles.
Wildes. No,
not about me.
Hold on, Wildes. But who is? Because
I mean, honestly,
Uh-huh.
I think the Chiefs, but I also think the Vikings.
Okay, so I don't know.
That's your guy.
I don't know what you're trying to get me to quit. Can I ask Kevin Wildes another question?
Yeah,
since
there's
I'm
an
being
issue
attacked?
here.
What's that?
Denial.
Denial.
Guys aren't scoring points. It's not about one play.
Okay.
It's systematic. I tweeted out,
Week
seems like you
after
miss Eric
week after
Bieniemy.
week.
Josh Allen lost Brian Daboll. We were like, obviously, that's an issue. You lost
That's
Eric
true.
Bieniemy. All of a sudden, Sam Howell's
By
leading
the
the league
way,
in passing yards,
I
and you guys can't score one solitary point in the second half.
I agree with
Just
the
one in 3
missing
games.
Eric Bieniemy, by the way. I agree with that. That's why I said Andy's got to step up in these halftime adjustments. But I'm glad you mentioned your tweets. Can we show 2 consecutive Kevin Wildes tweets?
Sure.
Because while
Hard
you
to
guys
imagine.
might think I'm in denial, I think we can show Wildes' tweets. There we go. All right. This is Wildes at midnight. Yes, the Chiefs are struggling to score, but there's a wow it rained 3 straight days in Vegas feeling to the team. I'm still confident we'll be sunny tomorrow.
I'm beloved.
And then yards against Eagles secondary, panic time in KC.
It's called tough love.
Those were
That's
consecutive
facts.
sweeps.
He threw for 177
right.
yards. Mac Jones threw for
So, hold
316.
on.
He doesn't have a
Are
job.
you
less than Zach
Wildes,
Wilson.
Is it confident?
Oh my
Are you
gosh.
confident or are you panicking?
I'm a little bit of both.
Okay. All right. Well then, okay.
I'm a little bit of both. More or less confident in the Eagles after last night, bro.
Yeah, because they were my Super Bowl pick. Just
we know.
letting people know. All right. I'm more confident. And it was
Really?
a tough,
Even though
hard
they
fought
got
game.
pushed around by your own
because the
admission?
second half they didn't really get pushed around that much, but first half they did. Maybe they, the Chiefs did a good job. I'll give them that. But here, several reasons. Number one, they did go into Kansas City with the Chiefs off a bye. Which we know how great Andy Reid's been. Mahomes had never lost off a bye.
21-3.
Yeah.
Right. And they were at full strength. Not like the Lions game when Kelsey and Chris Jones are out. So that's number one. You go in there and get a win. 2, they made the big play. The play of the game, as far as the positive, was the pass, Jalen Hurts' 41-yard pass to Devontae Smith. And it was a great throw and catch. That's what the Chiefs couldn't do. Make the big play. The Eagles have proven kind of week after week that they make the big play. 3, the defensive secondary held up. Now, I get it. A lot of drops. Maybe if there aren't those drops, there's a lot of yardage that the Chiefs get.
Sure.
But they held up pretty well, and I was pleased with the way the secondary played. I thought Byard obviously played better, and they were able to keep Kelsey under wraps, and they made the adjustments. Blankenship kind of spying on Mahomes, kept him from scrambling in the second half. So I like that. And then 4, I love the fact, Coach, that they know they're not playing their best football. Like, they weren't all giddy. Oh, wow, we beat the champs. For them to say, Jalen Hurts on the field immediately after, we still didn't really play that well. It's not like the Cowboys who are celebrating, we left a few out there, No, they know we got to get better. I bet Jalen Hurts is telling that team, look, let's not think we did anything. We got to get a lot better because next time, if we play them in the Super Bowl, we're going to have to be better.
And Jalen's
going
to have to play way better. Because I understand he had the 2 rushing touchdowns, and one of them was a really good play. But up until that last throw, Jalen was having the worst game of his season. I thought it was, you could argue the Jets game was worse because of the picks, but he just had nothing going. But I think, so I feel really good about the Chiefs matchup specifically against Philly, but from a holistic standpoint for the Eagles, I think they deserve massive credit that I feel like football media, and Brou, you've talked about this, has started talking about the NFL at times like it's college football. They won, but how impressive was it?
Yeah, that's true.
Thanksgiving is in 2 days. The Philadelphia Eagles, coming off a Super Bowl loss, which typically leads to bad seasons for teams, have lost 1 game. Right. They just went to Arrowhead, like you said, off a bye for a Chiefs team that was coming off maybe not pretty, but a very good win against Miami. We're down 10 points at half and won. I don't really care that the game they haven't had as many pretty wins this year as Miami has. They haven't had as many pretty wins as Buffalo has or Dallas. All those things. Where I get frustrated at times when we talk about quarterback wins, I'm not a big fan of. You know what I'm a huge fan of? Team wins. And the Philadelphia Eagles know how to win. And so, I give them massive credit. Even if I do truly believe if these teams were to play again, there were a lot of the things Kansas City did that they could continue to do against them.
Well, I give them credit. I was as skeptical as anybody that you lose both coordinators, you have the Super Bowl hangover, you pay your starting quarterback. Usually all three of those things create some sort of decline, and then they've had the success they've had, and look who they've beaten. They've beaten Kansas City, Dallas, and Miami here in 3 out of the last 4 games, all really good teams. And on top of all that, you hear them in the press conference. They're talking about the things that they need to work on. There's no highs. There's no lows. It's so different than every other team. And it's not pretty, but it's consistent. And they're finding ways to win, which makes them very hard, to beat long term.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree with that.
More on Kansas City's woes next on FS1.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get more from the show and to check out clips from other shows on FS1.